Thank you so much for meeting with me today.
Of course, Lauren.
So, for starters, how would you personally describe your relationship with social media, both professionally and in your personal life?
Personally, I find it to be a very interactive means of keeping up with friends from middle school, high school, even my college peers. Also, a great way to get informed about professors, and you know, I just use it as a tool to get to know people in general. I know it sounds a little stalkerish, but there's a lot that you can see from a person based off of their social media. And it also allows you to have more connectivity and accessibility to them as a person and their personality. Professionally speaking, I do run my own blog. So I use it in posting content, publishing work, getting people to engage with what I'm writing, what I'm producing, and kind of just give me feedback on what I'm already using different platforms for. I started with Facebook, Instagram, like the basics, and then it's gotten me as far as like having my own Twitter and having my own TikTok. So
awesome. Thank you. Have you ever felt drained using social media? Or like what do you think causes that feeling?
I definitely have experienced some FOMO, like fear of missing out with social media. But that's only like if I'm hyper fixating on like specific events. Like most of the time I could have easily asked to join, or it's like a birthday celebration for someone, so there's nothing really that I need to stress about like between my friends and I. But I definitely do find that with social media, like it's just a lot of like you can definitely spend way too much time looking at it, and it does increase like your options, so then you want to do less things because you don't want to do the wrong thing. So having a lot of like access to a lot of different people's lives and things that interest you can sometimes be a little overwhelming.
A bit of a rabbit hole.
Yeah, like I got lost down a rabbit hole on cults the other day. So like I watched one Facebook video, and then like next thing you know, I'm like, what? Okay, here's my list for my Netflix now, and it's just all these movies and docuseries on cults. So
no, that makes total sense. I felt that sometimes too. Do you personally think that social media could be beneficial for mental health? Why, or like why not?
I feel like it could allow a conversation about mental health and definitely open up the doors of communicating with peers, people that suffer from mental health issues. Like I have really bad anxiety, and so having a conversation on social media with people that also have really bad anxiety kind of helps perpetuate like your access to other solutions and other resources to help you with your own issues. So
awesome. Have you ever personally used social media to discuss mental health?
I haven't used a personal platform to discuss it. I also haven't used like a professional, but I have looked into having conversations in comment sections on posts and things like that with other people.
Cool. Awesome. Has social media ever brought you a sense of belonging to people maybe in your shared interests or in your shared community of blogging? Or maybe even with USF communities or anything like that? Because you said you go to USF St. Pete.
Yes, I am a full-time college student. And I find that, like there has been some connectivity and, some benefit to it. And, with blogging and like being a foodie, like you definitely get a lot of information off of it after it caters to your needs. Like everything does get filtered in to what you've liked, what hashtags you're following, things like that. So you definitely have a lot of control over like what you're seeing and what you're exposed to. So
yeah. Which of the social medias do you personally love the most or do you most frequent?
I hate to say it, but like TikTok is like the one that I'm like constantly on. But I do spend quite a decent amount of time on Instagram as well, just because, like it's instant. Like you can just swipe through, like see everybody's posts. But I definitely spend way too many hours on TikTok. All of the stop, like maybe you should sleep, come back, constant. And sometimes it's a challenge. I know some of my friends have even blocked those people from showing up so that they could just keep going. So
why would you say TikTok is your personal favorite?
I just like because I have a short attention span, and I don't think TikTok helped any of that, but I definitely find like just having, content, that's a little quicker to get engaged with. Like there's no like you have to wait for it. Like it's just it happens within 60 seconds. That it definitely it's just a little bit easier, like the platform, and again, an algorithm that really works in favor. So,
oh, definitely. Could you possibly think of an example where you have seen mental health represented via social media? Maybe someone you know, a certain celebrity, a certain like sponsored post where it discusses mental health awareness.
I feel like Demi Lovato, like as far as a celebrity goes, definitely talks about it a lot, given her struggles through Disney Channel and in her personal life and her youth. I know that she definitely uses her platform to engage with people, especially on Twitter. I feel like that's one that gets a lot more discussion on, like big, like like mental health, politics, things like that are definitely more of a Twitter platform to continue to just retweet, add your own personal touch to. I feel like that one just gets a little bit more traction as far as like having a conversation for mental health. But I've seen engagement on Facebook with my family and like people that I'm friends with on Facebook definitely during Mental Health Awareness Month and suicide prevention hotlines and everything. Like those are definitely something that constantly get posted. And I know that my stepmom talks about it a lot, given the veterinary field. Like she mentions social media on social media, like about the suicide rates in the veterinary field. And every time she sees an article or something, like she definitely talks about it on social media. So it depends on like, of course, what's going on in the world. If there's something like that happening, of course, it's going to be talked about more than when, we haven't had an occurrence. And, we take it as a win when we don't have an occurrence like that. Yeah. But the conversation should still keep going.
Yeah, we definitely saw a pickup in the middle of like the coronavirus pandemic of people being very, very open about how their mental health was, for lack of a better word, draining during that time of like uncertainty, which makes sense.
I was definitely drained, especially like, having online classes, having to deal with moving back home. There was just a lot of things. And like, I don't mean to say deal with, but, there was a lot of uncertainty with the situation and I didn't know how long I would be under their roof. So love my parents, but, after you have a taste of independence, it's really hard to just backtrack like no other. So
yeah, no, that makes sense. Do you, as a blogger, maybe even as an individual or a part of it, like the Generation Z, do you see a future where social media can be used as like an open space to discuss mental health?
I do. I see it as an open space to discuss anything. You see it a lot when you have TikTok creators talking about their own experiences. You see it a lot with Instagram people talking about their experiences as well. And I feel like the conversation is trying to get opened. And I feel like with my generation, our generation, that we're definitely more engaged and more willing to open up about these conversations since we have an increased accessibility to having this conversation with other people. I feel like the internet, social media as a whole has definitely expanded our ability to connect with people, and that, conversations like these may be hard to have. Conversations like these may be triggering, but conversations like these do need to occur to help prevent people from feeling isolated, people feeling alone, and people feeling unable to communicate and have a community of support in any way, shape, or form.
And social media sometimes may even be the best method to reaching out to people, and like the quickest and easiest method for people to be able to reach others around them where they may feel isolated from even people they live in the same house as. Exactly. Or something. Definitely. Is there anything that you wanted to add before we close this interview?
Honestly, just that people should be more willing to communicate with others and help build a community. I myself represent a safe space. People are more than welcome to confide in me and be willing to communicate with me, especially in the foodie world, in the USFSP, USF system. like people are more than willing to come up, and if they need to confide or they need advice or they need a safe spot, and have a conversation about mental health and mental health awareness, like I know the resources that are available, and I am more than happy to give help and guidance wherever necessary. And, you know, even if it is just stitching a TikTok recipe that I have, and or if it's just commenting below on one of my posts, like just, reach out,
Of course.
Of
Yeah,
course.
absolutely. Again, I couldn't thank you enough for sitting down with this interview for me today.
Of course, Lauren. No thinking, no rush, no problems.
Did you want to plug any of your platforms or anything where people may be able to see future endeavors of Addie and the Berg or anything like that?
You'll be able to find anything at Addie and the Berg. Instagram and TikTok are where most of the content's being posted, and then the website blog as well. You just Google Addie and the Berg, it pulls right up.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much and have a great rest of your night.
You as well, Lauren. Thank you.